Once upon a time, in a small town, there lived a young woman who dreamt of flying. Every night she would look up at the stars and imagine herself soaring through the sky. She yearned to break free from the confines of her small town and see the world from a different perspective. One day, she met an old man who had a pair of magnificent wings. They were large and strong, perfect for flying. The young woman was overjoyed and asked the old man if she could borrow them just for one day, so that she could experience what it was like to fly. The old man agreed, and the young woman put on the wings and took off into the sky. As she flew, the wind rushed through her hair and the sun warmed her face. She could see the small town below her and realized how small her dreams had been. From this new perspective, she saw that there was so much more to the world than what she had been taught in her small town. She flew over mountains and valleys, forests and rivers, and finally landed in a big city. The young woman spent the day exploring the city and having new experiences. She went to museums and art galleries, rode on public transportation, and even visited a theater. She was amazed by all the different people she met and the new ideas she learned about. But as the day wore on, she began to feel a little sad. She realized that she didn't want to go back to her small town and her old life. She wanted to stay in the city and keep exploring the world. So she put on the wings again and took off into the sky. Just then, a bird flew past her and asked where she was going. The young woman replied that she didn't know, but that she didn't want to go back home. The bird suggested that she follow him and promised to show her a place that was even better than the city. The young woman agreed, and they flew together to a beautiful meadow filled with colorful flowers and butterflies. The bird told the young woman that this was his home, and he invited her to stay there with him. The young woman was in awe of the beautiful surroundings and accepted the bird's invitation. She spent her days exploring the meadow and playing with the butterflies, and her nights sleeping under the stars. For a while, the young woman was happy in her new home. But after a few months, she began to feel a little bored. She missed the excitement of the city and the challenge of exploring new places. So she decided to leave the meadow and go on another adventure. She thanked the bird for his hospitality and put on her wings and took off into the sky. As she flew, she looked down at the meadow and realized how foolish she had been to leave such a wonderful place. She had been so focused on exploring the world that she had forgotten to appreciate the beauty that was right in front of her. The young woman turned around and flew back to the meadow. When she arrived, she found the bird sitting on a tree. He was sad to see her go, but he was happy that she had realized her mistake. The young woman apologized for leaving and asked if she could move back in. The bird was happy to have her back, and they spent their days exploring the meadow and their nights sleeping under the stars. And so the young woman learned a valuable lesson about appreciating what you have and not always trying to chase after new things. Sometimes the greatest adventures are right where you least expect them to be. And sometimes the best place to explore is the one that you call home. Once upon a time, there was a young girl who lived in a small village. She had always dreamed of going on an adventure and seeing the world, but she was afraid to leave her comfort zone. One day, she met a wise woman who told her a story about a magical land far away. The girl became determined to find this magical land and embarked on a journey. On her journey, she faced many obstacles, but she persevered and eventually found the magical land. When she arrived, she realized that the only way to get home was to return the way she came. Although she had failed to find a way to stay in the magical land, she was still happy because she had experienced something new and exciting.